Oh man, season 10 is here and it is werewolves and vampires. We have got season 10 Night Haven coming on October 13th to New World. It is going to be free for all New World Aeternum owners, so you don't have to make any additional purchases in order to get this update. And with this update, there's going to be a new zone which looks very gothic, vampire werewolf-esque. Honestly, I really like this aesthetic. I'm not a biggest fan of werewolf vampire lore, but I do like the gothic aesthetic. And then we've got evolving end game systems. We'll talk a little bit about that as we get further in the video. There's a new 10-player raid, and there is a new outpost rush map as well, but they didn't list it here. Yeah, let's take a look at it. So starting off with the new zone, Night Haven, it is going to be a werewolf and vampire zone. Past that, I didn't really get any information out of the README there. So we've got a new story coming as well. And again, there's not really much to say past there is new story. All of that we'll see as we get there. The new game mode, Catacombs. This is the new game mode where 3 players explore the depths of procedurally generated dungeons. They're battle a wide variety of enemies and bosses, gaining unique mode-specific power-ups, collecting cursed resources and currency, and then racing to successfully exit and cleanse their treasures before the times run out. The difficulty of the catacombs will increase as you progress further in them and defeat more bosses. And as you continue to progress further, you'll get more loot and stuff like that. And the game function here is that one party member needs to safely find the exit before the time limit is over in order for everybody to get their treasures. It doesn't have to be everybody, it just has to be one. Very interesting PvE game mode. I'm excited for this one because I feel like there is a lot of replayability in the procedurally generated stuff, so maybe this is going to be that type of content that dungeon runners have been desperately seeking. There is the new raid, the Isle of Night. It's going to be kind of similar to the Gorgon raid. It's said to be similar in length and format, but it is going to be very difficult. So this will probably be some of the most difficult content PvE-wise that we'll have in the game come this update. They have overhauled endgame progression. Gear score is now 800 instead of 725. And PvP game modes are going to scale your gear score up to 775 instead of 700. I do like that they're keeping that kind of upscaling in PvP because that's very important to keep it as competitive as possible. There's a new gear modding system called Perk Charms. Instead of one customizable gem socket like we have right now, gear will have up to 4 empty sockets in which players can install new perk modifiers called charms. Charm sockets and charms themselves have 3 different types: defensive, offensive, and skill, and these charms can be picked up fully refined, but more commonly they will need to be crafted with rare materials which drop from endgame content. So right off the bat, we're seeing that gear is going to be much more customizable than it used to be. And they will also be introducing set bonuses into New World. And these are going to be ultra rare sets of gear that will be earned from pinnacle endgame content: the Isle of the Night raid, the Catacombs, and the PvP reward track. And they stress that they want to encourage people to mix and match these sets to achieve their desired build type, so they aren't all or nothing. There's going to be 2 different types of set bonuses. There's going to be sets of 2 and 4, and then there's going to be sets that give you bonuses at 3 and 5 pieces. That means that there are 7 different possible combinations. I'm not going to say them all, but there are. And it's up to you to decide the best combination of effects that best suits your unique playstyle. Very, very cool. And this opens up huge things Buildcraft wise for the game. So I'm really excited to see how these sets function, how good or bad they are, how much of a necessity they are. It seems like this is dropping from the end game content. So it seems like you're going to need to do one of these 3 activities in order to actually get those set pieces, one of them being the PvP track, so that could be any PvP content that you want to do. But the fact that it's going to be one of these 3 activities in order to get access to what I'm assuming is going to be the best gear in the game. And now Umbrals. There is a new generation of Umbral shards coming in this patch. You're going to be able to upgrade any gear that is at least 700 or higher gear score up to 800 gear score with the Umbral system. So your existing gear that you have right now will be upgradable and viable come the new patch. And then there's also going to be a bit of a time gate on this stuff. There's going to be a currency wallet with a cap of 1,000 of these shards and then a weekly rate limit that you can earn. So it seems like you're not going to be able to just really quickly grind and get away with this system. I'm curious how this will play out. I'm really curious how the high gear score stuff will look and how it will play out because, yeah, until we get in there and we actually try it, we don't really know. But I do like what we see here, minus maybe this time gating system. I know this is good, this is bad in different ways. This is good because it helps people who don't have as much time to play keep up with the people who have way too much time to play. We've got infix perks. These will be unique gear pieces with powerful and rare perks called infixes. So looking at something like the Sand Lion's Tarsuses, which are the boots that give you keen speed, that is talking about those particular items. So those will continue to exist in the game as well. Attribute points on gear are no longer going to be a thing, and your attribute points are going to be attached to your character. And you're just going to be changing them in your attribute loadout. Your gear stuff will not impact how many attribute points you have. So that's really cool. That's actually like a very interesting and good change for Buildcraft. And I think a big reason why they've made this change is so that the gear set storage can now save your current attribute loadout. If it is not attached to gear, this makes it a lot easier system for them to actually save your attribute loadout with your gear. And then the attribute perks on existing gear have been replaced with other perks of relatively low power. So again, your existing gear maybe won't be quite as good as we're hoping it'll be in this patch. We'll have to really see what ends up happening with this, because this is kind of vague. So we'll see when we get there. And then perk design, they've done a complete sweep through all of the collection of perks and made some structural changes. The goal is to make perk selection conditional and thoughtful and eliminate must-have perks, looking at things like You Hardy that raise the critical combat numbers like damage, stamina, and cooldown reduction without some kind of meaningful drawback. Okay, so we'll see a lot of perk balance changes once this patch comes out. This will be a very interesting patch Buildcraft-wise. I'm very, very excited for it. And if you're like me, you like Buildcraft, you like that side of the game, this is going to be one patch to definitely at least check out. The new OPR map, the tower, this is going to be a Gothic Fortress tower that you play in an OPR. There is going to be a test preview of the map from September 23rd to September 30th. So we'll get our grubby fingers on it pretty quick here. And then there is a developer video coming out in early October talking a little bit more about what we're getting with this season. And that's it, guys. That's all the news we have. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope that you are at least excited for this season, because I fucking know I am. And of course, I would love to hear what you guys think. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.